After all the sleepless nights working on papers and reading long chapters, then comes the big payoff, college graduation. But what happens when no jobs are available and all the hard work seems to be in vain due to the current economic crisis? Tonight we have Nancy Cintrón, Director of the Career Services Office here at Lehman College, and joining her are Lehman College graduates Giselle Fernandez, Nilka McMahon, and Kiana Lowe. Welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you here. The reason why we invited you here is because there's a lot of talk all over this country nowadays about how some college students are actually prolonging their stay in college or going to graduate school, basically buying time until the economy gets better because there are no jobs out there. Let me start with you, Nancy. You run the career services here at Lehman College. How much is that being? How much do you see that in your office? How much are students affected nowadays by the economic crisis?
Sure, the students are affected. They're wondering about what's going to happen to their future. They've invested a lot of time in their education and money. Sure, it's no wonder that you're concerned about it.
Not only that, they've also borrowed money, many of them, and they owe money that they have to pay back.
Exactly, yes.
So they have to get a job so they can pay back the student loans, right?
Yeah. So, basically, it's a difficult time. It's stressful. I say to students, first of all, take care of yourself, okay, number one. There's a lot of things that have to be done. Preparation. You got to prepare for the job search. You need the tools that you're going to need. Good resume, cover letters, okay? You got to practice your skills. There's certain skill sets that you need when you're going out into the job market. You're interviewing, okay? So that's really very important. I also think that networking is really another way of trying to develop connections and relationships.
Before we go on with some of the advice, let's find out from some of our guests what's going on.
I like to see what's going on
in their lives, because I know some of these. Two of you were my students just last semester. Kiana, let me start with you. You graduated last year,
May of 2008.
In May of 2008. You went out on the job market.
Yep.
What happened?
Online every night. I didn't get anything. I just graduated with communications with a minor in journalism. And I was online every night, going to different websites. I have to mention, I wasn't going to a lot of networking events, but I've gone to a couple. But I wasn't hearing anything. I didn't get any interviews at all. I don't know if it's my resume. I also went to the Career Center. They helped me. I'm signed up for College Central. Right, so I get emails all the time. I send things all the time, and I haven't heard anything.
So, but what do they tell you when you go out there? Do they actually tell you that things are bad, don't expect a job, maybe, or not?
You get an automatic forward that they've received my email, but I haven't gotten any interviews at all, is what I'm saying.
See what happens, thousands and thousands of people are using those online databases and networks, whether it's Career Builder or whatever it is. So, that's one way of applying for positions, but what you get is an acknowledgement through an email, right?
Yeah, sometimes they're just
and
recruiters.
And then you get recruiters, and all of that. I would suggest, you want to stick to communications?
Well, she's actually back.
Let
me
back for a second degree.
You should finish your story.
But I think
you're back for a second degree because you couldn't find a job.
Right. I came right back. I only had one semester off. But sometimes I just think it's the actual field that you study. Communications itself is competitive, especially in New York. If I would have studied something like education, accounting, teaching, those are jobs that's in demand. So I think you just have to be careful with what you choose to study as well.
Also, your choice was to stay in New York. If you choose communications and you're willing to move out to another part of the country, there may be jobs, right?
Right.
Okay.
But
that's another thing. Relocation is important. I don't know, what type of communications did you want? What form of media?
I wanted to do radio. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and so definitely something like radio. You have to move out and come back. Right. Right.
So what's your second degree in?
Right now I'm doing social work.
Social work.
Yep.
Well, there are many social work.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing now.
So you found out that this is one career where there are jobs.
Yes.
And that's why you came back.
Right.
Makes
so
sense.
I'm kind of stuck between social work and also going back for my master's for public administration. Because I don't know if I want to do the second degree because it does take a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Nilka. Tell us your story. When did you graduate?
I also graduated the same time as Kiana in May 2008, and I didn't even waste any time because I already had friends who graduated the year before, you know, the year ahead of me, and they're like, we're still here working in Pathmark, you know, and that kind of like, I was scared about that. So I kind of put my plan B into action right away instead of waiting a couple years down the line.
And what was plan B?
I'm doing speech pathology. This is my second semester. I'm right here at Lehman.
So what happens when you come back for a, it's not like taking a double major, right? It's you have to start all over again.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
college
but
all
it's
over
not,
again.
I mean,
Well, they have to meet a certain residency.
The 55
requirement.
credits,
Yeah.
not the 120.
Yeah,
just the required courses for the major.
correct. Like my
55
minor,
credits.
my minor was in psychology, so I already had some of the courses that I needed. So I only have to take 36 credits, which could take me maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So I only have a year left, and then I can
But
possibly.
you're at the undergraduate level.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like speech pathology, you need a graduate degree.
Yes.
Okay, it's a good field. You'll get a job, and if you're bilingual,
Yes.
really very much needed. So you're in the right path, but it's going to take you a little while longer.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
so but you also have to. I hope you have an interest in this field.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay,
used to
so
work
that's
at a
important.
school for about 6 months, and
Okay.
I work with kids with disabilities.
Yeah.
So that really got me into the speech.
No, it's a great field. My sister's in it.
She loves it, so I think that's something good.
Giselle Fernandez, tell us about, you graduated just this
Last
January.
month, just last month.
Okay, just a couple of months ago, yeah.
So I'm new at this, but I've been looking for jobs everywhere. I've even went to interviews, and I went to an interview with a New York one, because my major is English, but my minor is Mass Comm. It was just an entry-level position, and I went in, and instead of them interviewing me, I got the whole, you need to move out of New York if you want a job. So I was like, I thought I was here for an interview. He just told me that he'd rather give me some kind of mentoring and advise me to leave instead of interviewing me.
That's interesting.
That's
Which was
unheard
very,
of.
at least he was honest, and he told me to get out of New York. But my thing is, I need a job to get out of New York. So where do I go from now? So
Well, have you been applying to other positions outside of New York?
the thing is, I'm considering leaving New York now after everybody tells me to leave. But what I did now is that I'm gonna, being that my major is English, I have no choice but to, I guess, pursue it. Because what do you do with an English major? That's what I
Well, you could
Oh,
teach
there's
it.
a lot of things.
teach. Yeah, but that was my like
Last
plan
resort.
Z,
Me too. Me too.
not A or B. So, but I guess I have to go to plan Z. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to get a certification to teach abroad or something to see if that would help.
So you'd rather go abroad instead of somewhere else in the United States?
Yes.
States?
Oh, okay.
Get away from the
So
problem.
it's New York. It's New York or the world for you.
That's what it is for me right now.
Okay, all right. But you know, let me just, as a journalist and as someone who went to, you know, through all this many years ago, when I went to graduate school in New York City, Columbia University graduate school, even there I was told you have to leave New York. And I was in graduate school, and it was Columbia University Graduate School, which is a very reputable journalism school. And I was still being told, I was very, very lucky. I was one of the few of my classmates who actually didn't have to leave New York, because I got a job at the Daily News that year, right after I graduated. But I was just extremely lucky. Most journalists, journalism students, have to relocate
But
and
how
then
do you-
move up. And especially if you're on TV, you move up slowly to a bigger and bigger TV market. New York is the #1
Yes.
market. From here, you go to the networks. You have to start in a smaller TV market and then move up. But let's pretend for a minute that you guys, you three, are showing up in Nancy Strong's office for advice. What would you ask her at this point?
Where do I start?
Where do you start? Well, if you are serious about the communications field and you want to do this, I would suggest that you apply wherever the jobs are. And if that means leaving New York, you may have to do that. Of course, you know, it doesn't mean that you know, I know it's hard to leave your family and friends and all of that. Think of it as a temporary thing. It may be a year or two. You get your feet wet, you get experience. You may get opportunities that come to you afterwards. But I mean, and, you know, so this is something that's the reality, especially if you want to stay in that field.